Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends and fans of Agora. Let me gladly welcome you to the 13th run of our conference aimed at the usage of information and communication technologies by visually impaired people. I'm very happy you joined us today, and that you're going to spend the following 2 hours here with us in order to learn more about what's new in this field and what's happened over the last half a year, over the last 6 months. Our Agora has been part of the activities surrounding the Global Accessibility Awareness Day for the 7th time already. The day has been celebrated last Thursday, but considering the amount of the events that are taking place related to this event, we decided to make use of the fact that it's also possible to organize the event in a different day than the day itself, which means today, which I believe suits you because you were that way able to attend more of these events. A lot of thanks to all of you who joined us today, even to those who are going to watch today's plenary session of Agora from the archive. Thanks to the lecturers. We have 7 contributions prepared for you that are going to take place during today's afternoon, thanks to the interpreters who prepared the translations of the individual submissions into English and who interpret today's program, thanks to my colleagues from the technical department who took care of handling today's stream without any issues so that it could take place. And last but not least, thanks to the partners of Agora, who include the Deloitte company. That's been our general partner for 5 years already. And I would also like to thank the Czech Radio Endowment Fund, which has been supporting Agora from the Firefly Fund. Besides the Deloitte company and the Firefly Fund, we also have a lot of other partners who have collaborated with us long term, whether it be the versions of Agora that take place online or in the built environment. My colleagues from the University of the Third Age, the Association of Workers in Education and Social Workers, Inspo to Flow Service, Transkript Online, Spektra, Gallup companies, IAAP, all of these are partners who helped us organize today's event, today's Agora. Sometimes when people ask me what I appreciate the most about Agora, I have to say it's, besides the knowledge and the know-how that the participants can learn here, that they can gain here, then it's also especially building the community. The fact that we meet here is not due to just one person or two people, but it's really the fact that over the years that we've been organizing Agora, we started in 2015. There's been in my opinion, an absolutely amazing community built around Agora of those who want to actively participate on Agora being able to exist, whether it be the participants itself or all those who support it and help it, whether it be financially or materially with volunteer work. And they participate on enabling the event to exist and to grow further and to be even more useful and helpful. Those of you who had the option, the possibility to get to know Agora over the years, I believe you can also see the difference comparing when we started in May 2015 as a small 1 afternoon long activity for a couple interested participants, and in 2019, before the coronavirus pandemic moved our other activities into the online realm, we were finishing with the plenary session for about 150 participants, with the exhibition part where we had 11 booths. And during the weekend, there were about 40 workshops taking place here. I believe we'll be able to follow up to this already this fall, that circumstances are going to be suitable for us and we'll be able to move from here, from this online world into the build environment. Of course, considering the fact that we're going to take the positive part of the experience we've gained over the last year here, so that we would enable everyone to participate on Agora, all those who can't for some reason get here to the Teiresias Center to us. I would now like to pass the mic to our first colleague who would like to welcome you. She's Jarka Šmerdová from the IBM company, who, as I already said, is our long-term partner. And our IBM colleagues have amazingly helped us, wonderfully helped us, especially in the build activities where they establish all the comfort around all the service, around accessibility and enabling participants to feel good at us. Jarka works at IBM and the position at the place of a project manager for volunteer events, and I would like to pass the mic to her this way. Thanks, Radek. Good day to everyone at Agora. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to talk here on behalf of the IBM volunteers in Brno. The Agora conference is a kind of a satisfaction for our volunteers. We've already supported this event for several years. During the last year, we had the opportunity to learn that information technology means much more than before. For several long months, we've moved to the online world and we've learned to work and to live in the virtual reality. I'm proud to have the possibility to collaborate at IBM with volunteers who help to build this virtual reality. I'm glad we take part in developing new products and thus help where it's needed the most. And in 2020, we managed to support Agora also financially. And that was thanks to the activities of our stable volunteer, Veronika Lukášová, which we thank her for a lot, and we're glad we have her in our vast team of volunteers. Not too long ago, we finished a project for the nonprofit organization Blue Line, where it became obvious what a large heart volunteers must have. We finished both the website as well as the live chat and Blue Line chat. The Blue Line chat workers will thus be able to help IBM volunteers even more than before. In collaboration with the Merispool organization, we are currently building a new stepping application for Android, step measuring, where every kilometer you walk will bring food to the table for the children in the third world countries. It's not a duty for us. It's a mission which we are happy to do and which we try to do from the bottom of my heart. It's a room where we can improve ourselves and where we can improve and use our knowledge, not just technical knowledge, but also we can expand our human knowledge. And that's what we thank you all for very much. I would like to thank Jarka a lot for her nice words. We're glad that we have our IBM colleagues in our team, and I believe that the collaboration with IBM is going to keep going on, and that we are gonna keep meeting, whether it be at Agora or even at other events that are going to take place here in our around us, in our surroundings. As you may already know, and as it's definitely worthwhile to mention, Agora is organized by the Teiresias Center of Masaryk University. Masaryk University has already belonged for a long time to pioneers in the area of making studies accessible for students with specific needs, and I'm very happy for that Agora found its place and its purpose here at Masaryk University. I have to say, it's flourishing. It's really flourishing here, and participants are glad to come back to us. I have to say the same feeling from Agora, even though it didn't have. Even though there was not the opportunity for her to take part in person, because last year the circumstances were not right for it. But Simona Koryčánková, the pro-chancellor of the university for the matters of students and graduates, who's our second, who will be the person to talk next in this block, that I'm passing the mic to her now, and I'd like to ask her for a couple of sentences. Good afternoon. Thanks for the floor, dear colleagues and dear participants of the conference. I'd like to thank you for the invitation, and I would like to greet you all as a member of Masaryk University's lead staff or management, and I'm very happy to be able to learn about this conference. And you were really right. I had no information about this conference taking place, but when I was getting ready for today, and I was reading all the information about the conference, I was very surprised, of course, very positively surprised. I'm very glad I was able to learn about this event. And when I saw since when this event has been taking place, and with at what intensity and how the individual topics are growing, which really caught my interest, then I learned that in principle it's essential to know, even for us teachers or the staff of the university and teachers in general, or tutors in general, it's important to know in which way it's been recently possible to work with the technologies that aid the visually impaired, and which aid them, help us to do our teaching, and which materials we can provide to our students in such a way that they can use them, even our schoolmates can use them, who in some way have a disability or are disabled in not having the best of vision, but of course they have other possibilities of making use of everything that's going on around us. Because I felt, and I'm going to explain what I'm talking about right away, I felt my own myself being handicapped in not having an idea about these technologies at all, about not knowing what's possible, to what extent all of this can be used. And when I saw even today's topics that you're going to discuss, that you're going to learn about, I'm very interested in fulfilling them, and I'm very sorry about just connecting here now from another appointment that I have just to greet you, and I'll have to disconnect right away, because I do really think that even us, the staff, are a little bit disabled in not having maybe sometimes the time that we need. Sometimes we're not entirely interested in learning what the possibilities are, where the technologies have moved, about what we can use, what you can use, and in which way all of this can be moved. Because I'm a little older in age already, and that's why I remember that when we were beginning to study, and in which way we were receiving the materials which we had to write down or jot down by ourselves. Often we've been waiting for a book from a library for long weeks or months. Then suddenly all this movement in the technologies and in what we can make use of, the information system, the available study materials, which now can even be adapted for our visually impaired colleagues to be able to use them, and it helps them, and the technology helps them in that, as my colleague, the previous speaker was talking about. The entire Teiresias Center helps with that. That fills me with a huge humility and admiration or respect, but there's always the person standing behind this. There's always a person both behind the technology as well as behind the work that's been put into allowing the technologies to correctly process what we create and what we put in there for them to process. And what our visually impaired colleagues can then further learn to use and how to use it. And it all creates a single coherent whole. And I'm very happy for being able to build this whole and to create this here at our alma mater, but also at Masaryk University. I thank you for that very much, and I'm very enriched by what I was able to read, what I was able to learn, and I hope that this it's not going to be over with this year of Agora, and that you're going to invite me even to the follow-up years where I'm going to be able to stay with you for longer. So I wish today's conference of yours a lot of success. Thanks for this very right event, very proper and nice event, and I'll be happy if you invite me even the next time. So thanks a lot, and have a nice time. Goodbye. Well, I thank our Pro-Chancellor for the nice words. I certainly can invite you, and I'm doing so very happily even now, and not just for our Pro-Chancellor, but also to others of you who may not have the time today to stay for the whole time of the event. I remind you that there's going to be a follow-up archive available, whether it be on Facebook or on the YouTube channel of the Teiresias Center. So it's going to be possible to learn about the topics even there. So thanks once again. And as I already mentioned, we're at the premises of the Teiresias Center at Masaryk University. So as has already become a good custom and good tradition for us, the last introductory speech is going to be held by the Teiresias Center director, Petr Peňáz. Peter, if I may ask you. Well, a nice afternoon. Have a nice afternoon to everybody, to all my friends and acquaintances and colleagues. And I'm really glad to be able to meet in this way, and for so many times already. As Mrs. Pro-Chancellor, she claimed her membership of the older generation a while ago, and she's delighted about what possibilities there are today. I was then thinking of what I should do myself, who assumes the role of the elder above all the elders here, who's been encountering these issues, these topics for 30 years already, so even for much longer than Agora has existed. And I'm also thinking about what we've managed over the 30 years and where the entire field has moved sometimes. But I sometimes feel, because that's the way I already am, that's my nature, I have such a feeling that there's not all that much of it. In fact, even though I know how many technologies there are, I'm trying to keep an overview of how they work. In any case, I'm glad, though, that we managed to connect, and that's already been mentioned here, technologies and people. There's been a mention of this being unable to take place without the people, and it's always about whether the people understand each other, the people involved. So I was delighted by when I had a momentary feeling of losing the necessary strength myself, then there were always younger colleagues to come up and to take hold of everything. And these people include especially Radek Pavlíček, who managed to literally bring new wind and new blood into this area and organize one event after another, such kind of events that are really successful and where it seems that they are actually able to catch people's interest. And I'm grateful to Radek for that, and I thank him for that, and I still keep watching with delight how many contributions and people that are interested in the field he's able to gather together in one place. I also ask myself whether what we managed to do over the time and where we are moving, both for the better and for the worse, and how to combine it all, how to put it all together. But in any case, it's true that even I consider myself to be one of the people who are pleased by how many people the events of the last year changed their perspective. It can be said in a good sense, because we started thinking about how to achieve for people to be able to meet even though they cannot meet in person. And this impulse has been very useful to schools and even to others, even though it also concurrently kind of harmed us all. But the thought that I'm interested about the most among it all is the thought which of these impulses we'll manage to use in such a way where at the moment when all of us will be able to join, to meet up in person again, to meet one another, to be able to touch one another. But at the same time, for us not to leave what we've already tried on this occasion, how to put it all together. That's the question which we haven't really thought about yet. Perhaps no one knows no one entirely knows the answer to that question, but I would be very happy if we manage to pull this off. And as a result, to be able to take what we are gaining at these times, to take as an experience to enrich us all and to enhance us all at the times when we will be able to meet again. I'm thinking about all the information that I've missed and that I still miss, considering the number of all the various virtual conferences. You keep thinking about how to do it so that we didn't have to be so apart from one another, so far apart from one another, and to be able not to limit such events just to listening of what someone is saying. So the part that catches our interest the most out of all has disappeared from the conferences, the part where we can talk to each other face to face in small groups or individually. I asked Radek about whether he attempted to carry even such this facet of life into Agora, so that we could try virtual cafes and virtual meetings among 2 or 3 people. Radek, of course, replied that he hopes that all of this will be able to try all of this in person. But I do also mention this as an example of what still has to be figured out and what we will hopefully be able to manage for the benefits of both ways of life to kind of blend it together and to bring what they are supposed to bring. So thanks to everyone who's here today to talk about a topic and to bring their experience. Also thanks to those who became interested enough to hear that, and also to the organizers who made this all possible. So these were the introductory speeches, and to conclude this introductory part, I would also like to introduce myself. My name has already been mentioned here. My name is Radek Pavlíček, and I will be guiding you. I will be your guide for today's program, and let's get started. As I already mentioned, we've prepared 7 contributions for you, and the very first one brings something new and fresh into our area, into our country. And for the first time in the Czech Republic, we'll have the opportunity to learn about the glasses and the app called Envision. Some of you might already be using the app in your mobile devices, but the glasses as such have not yet been introduced in the Czech Republic. So that's what I would like to ask for Karthik Kannan, who is a co-founder of the Envision company and who is going to introduce the glasses and the company as a whole to us.
Hi, my name is Karthik Kannan, and I'm one of the co-founders of Envision. Firstly, I hope everyone is staying safe and staying healthy during these times. And I also want to thank the organizers of the Agora Festival for calling me here today to speak to you about Envision, the Envision glasses, and what you can expect from Envision in the future. So, before going into details about the Envision glasses and talking to you about it, I wanted to talk a little bit about how Envision got started and what motivates us and the kind of decisions that go into making a product like the Envision glasses. Envision started off in 2017 as the master's thesis of my friend and co-founder, Karthik Kannan, who was an industrial design student at the TU Delft here in the Netherlands. So the main idea behind his thesis was to try and understand what independence means to people with a visual impairment. And during the course of his design research, he found out that independence for visually impaired people means access to the information that's around us. We are surrounded by visual information, and when we find a way to give people with a visual impairment access to that visual information, they become more independent. At the same time, it is also not possible or feasible to expect that we put braille displays everywhere around us to make the visual information more accessible. So that's when I came in. I was working in AI at that time and doing research into computer vision, and I saw that there were a lot of visual tasks that previously humans were very good at, that AI is also getting good at, was getting good at back then. So tasks like reading text or recognizing faces or recognizing objects, AI was starting to do really, really well in these areas. And that's when we started to look into how we could take AI and apply that into helping people with a visual impairment to live more independently. And so that, research eventually progressed to the Envision app in 2018, where we launched the first beta of the Envision app on iOS, where it helps visually impaired people read text, recognize faces, recognize objects, and so much more. So when we launched the Envision app in 2018, we got a lot of great feedback from the community, and that motivated the two of us to start Envision as a company. So throughout 2018, we kept refining the Envision app, making it read all kinds of text, making it read text in more than 60 different languages from any surface, and so on. And eventually, we launched the Envision app on Android in 2019. And that's when we won the Google Play Award as well. So we won the Google Play Award for the best accessibility experience. And 2019 was also the year where we started to become more and more popular in the community, and we started to really expand and make the Envision technology more powerful on the smartphone. It was also around this time, and a bit earlier as well, that we started to get feedback from users about using or taking the Envision technology and putting it into a device or a form factor that makes it more unobtrusive and hands-free to use. So we started to experiment with Envision, taking the Envision technology and then putting it onto smart glasses and wearable cameras. So in 2019, we started to do research and we experimented with 5 or 6 different types of smart glasses from manufacturers across the world, where we tried to take the Envision technology, put it onto those glasses, and then give it to our users and understand if it's going to be a great experience for them or not. And we kept iterating and working through different glasses manufacturers. And that's when, towards the end of 2019, around October 2019, is when Google launched the new Google Glass. So this new Google Glass is a much more powerful version of the one they launched in 2013. So they added a lot more hardware capabilities to these glasses. They made them super light. They also went ahead and improved the camera on these glasses. And so because of our earlier interactions with Google, we were able to reach out to them and become a very early partner of theirs with the Google Glass. So they sent us a couple of pairs in 2019. We put the Envision app onto onto those glasses, and we gave them to our users, and they absolutely loved it. So that was the starting point of the Envision glasses. And we kept working on the Envision glasses, and we launched it in 2020, in March of 2020, just when the pandemic was starting at CSUN. So we launched the Envision glasses as a pre-order campaign in March 2020, and we had more than 100 people from across the world buy the glasses during the pre-order campaign. So as 2020 was progressing, we were all working from home and building the Envision glasses. We started shipping the glasses in October of 2020 to all the people who had a pre-order, who pre-ordered it from us during the pre-order campaign. And we also put the Envision glasses on our website, where anyone today can go ahead and purchase them. So that's how Envision glasses got started. And since then, we've basically gotten great feedback from the community, because this particular product, the Envision glasses, offers all the powerful features of the Envision technology that's there on the smartphone today, but brings that to a form factor that's a lot more easy to use and unobtrusive overall. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump into a demonstration of the Envision glasses itself. So with me, I have right now the Envision glasses. It's connected to a speaker here, so you can hear the audio output better. And so let me just go ahead and open up the glasses.
Home.
So when you open up the glasses, it basically starts off at home. But before diving into the features of the glasses itself, let me go ahead and describe what the glasses look like, so you get an understanding of how it looks like and what it is to wear it on your face. So this is the Envision glasses. I'm wearing it on my face right now. And the glasses come with two types of frames. So you can either get the thin titanium frame, which is what I'm wearing right now, or you can also go ahead and order a much thicker frames that allows you to add prescription lenses or tinted lenses to it as well. So if you want to add your own lenses, we have a frame that's specifically made for that, and you can go ahead and get that as well. But what I have with me right now is the thin titanium frame. So this is basically the frame itself. It's just like, and the glasses look like any other pair of sunglasses or spectacles that you usually end up wearing. On the right-hand side of the glasses is where all the magic happens, right? So let's start from the first item from the right-hand side. So you have the display. So this is an LCD display, which just displays all the information that's there, on a screen. It's not something that we really need within the glasses, but since it comes with the hardware, we can't really take it out. So it's just there and just gives some basic information about the Envision glasses itself on a screen. If you come further down to the right, you'll see the camera. So the camera is basically a wide angle 8 megapixel camera that's capable of taking HD images. And this camera is a wide angle camera that's angled a little bit towards the center as well. So you can go ahead and easily take pictures with this particular camera. It's able to capture stuff in great detail. If you come further down, you'll see the area with the touch gestures. So this particular touch gestures are very similar to the touch gestures that you're used to on the smartphone. So if you're a voiceover or a talkback user, you already know things like single tap and double tap to turn on or turn off a feature or go into a menu. You also have simple swipe gestures that we teach you about and so on, right? And if you come further down the line, you'll see that there are speakers and a microphone that's located right next to your ear. So you can go ahead and feel them on the glasses itself, the speaker and the microphone. This is, these speakers are quite powerful, and you'll be able to easily hear them even if you're out and about in outdoors. What the glasses also do is they also are able to connect to your headphones. So if you have like a Bluetooth or wireless headphones, you can connect the glasses to them and you can easily hear the audio output from there as well. So as you keep doing, different swipe gestures, you'll hear audio feedback and you'll know exactly how it, how to navigate the glasses completely independently. And located right behind my ear is the battery, the processor, and where all the hardware stuff is located at. And the battery life is around 5. We've seen in our testing it's around like 5 to 6 hour battery life. And of course it does change a bit with usage, but this is what we've usually seen from other users who are using the glasses as well. And the glasses charge with a USB-C type charger, and you can also use a fast charger to charge these glasses. So when you first get the Envision glasses, you have to pair the Envision glasses with your phone. It's a very easy, simple pairing step. So I'm going to skip that for now. So you just need to install the Envision app. And once you install the Envision app, the Envision app will automatically find if there are any glasses in the surroundings. You'll be able to go through a simple procedure to go ahead and set up the glasses. And once that's done, you'll be able to use your Envision glasses. So when you first, open up the Envision glasses, you end up in your home. And when you're in your home, you'll be able to do like a simple double tap to get more information, such as what the time is, what's the battery, percentage at, and which Wi-Fi you're connected to, and so on. So let me demonstrate that to you.
Home. It is 13:53. Today is Saturday, the 22nd of May. Battery level is at 56%. You are connected to the Hague Tech. Do a 2-finger swipe down gesture to set your device to sleep mode.
Okay, so like I said, you can just do like a quick double tap at when you're in your home screen to get more information, and you can also go ahead and just do like a simple 2-finger swipe to turn it off. So I'm going to be going ahead and doing a quick demonstration of the Envision glasses right now. I'll be walking you through the different categories that are there on the Envision glasses, and then going into some of those categories and demonstrating a few of the features to you. So the first category that we have here is read, and let's see what's in there.
Scan text.
So we have scan text. So this is used to scan documents, basically.
Instant text.
We have instant text, which is used to read short pieces of text around you. So for example, if you're at a train station and you want to read what's on the display, you can use instant text to do that.
Batch scan.
Batch scan, which is used to go ahead and scan documents one after the other. So if you have a book and you want to scan 10 pages at a time, you can use batch scan to do that. So that's in the read category.
Read. Call.
The next thing is call. So the call feature is something that's very unique to the Envision glasses and one of the most loved and used features of the Envision glasses. It allows you to make a call to a friend or a family member directly from within the glasses itself, and they can help you out with whatever task you need help with. And so that's the call feature.
Identify.
So the identify feature is to go ahead and it contains different features for identifying different things in your surroundings. So let's see what's in there.
Describe scene.
We have describe scene, so you can take an image of something and Envision will describe what's in there for you.
Detect colors.
We have detect colors, so you can detect colors in your surroundings.
Recognize cache.
Recognize cache is a feature where you can recognize different currency notes with the Envision glasses. And the interesting thing is we made this in partnership with the Cache Reader app, an app that a lot of you might have used and loved. They're now on the Envision glasses as a feature itself.
Detect light.
Detect light, which is used to detect the light in your environment.
Identify. Find.
And then the next feature we have is find.
Find object.
In this find category, we have find object, which is to go ahead and detect the different objects in your surroundings. So you can ask Envision to detect specific objects in your surroundings, and Envision will do that for you. Like for example, if you want to look for a chair, Envision can help you find that with the find object feature.
Find people.
Envision can also go ahead and recognize faces of your friends and family member once you teach it to, and you can use the find people feature to do that for you.
Explore.
And the last one here in this category is explore, which basically it just gives you, just speaks out all the different objects in your surroundings. So it's a bit different from the find objects feature that we spoke of earlier.
Find. Right.
So these are the different categories, and let me quickly demonstrate to you how to go ahead and scan a document using Envision.
Identify. Read. Home. Read.
So now I'm in the read category. I double tap to go into that category.
Scan text.
So I'm just going to quickly scan this document that is there in front of me. So the way Envision can help you scan documents better is it gives you a frequency, it gives you a tick frequency to tell you how many words are there in front of the camera, so you can adjust the document accordingly and take the best possible picture. So Envision automatically guides you on how best to take the picture using the frequency of the ticks. So I'm going to demonstrate that to you right now.
Reader, English text 15 PTS. Read all kinds of text. Envision provides the fastest and most accurate OCR, optical character recognition. Quickly read any piece of text from any surface, including food packaging, posters and display screens. It even works on handwritten text and recognizes scripts of more than 60 languages. Know what's around you. In its mission for a one-stop app for all visual recognition needs, Envision provides a range of functions. It can describe scenes around you, detect colors in the most descriptive way, and swipe down again to exit. Scan text.
So, like you see, it is able to give me, using the frequency of the ticks, I'm able to go ahead and identify how to take the best possible picture. Once I take the picture, it automatically starts reading out the text to me, and I can also go ahead and export this text outside of Envision if I want to. So I can put that into the Envision app. I can export it to the Envision app, and then once I export it to the Envision app, I can go ahead and save it in the Envision library if I want to. I can share the text with other apps and so on. So it's a really useful feature, and it's able to read in more than 60 different languages and scan text from pretty much any surroundings that you can, any particular printed surface that's around you. The next feature that I want to show you is the describe scene feature. What that feature does, like I said, is it'll allow you to take a picture and it gives you a description of what it sees. So let's see what Envision sees right now.
Call. Identify. Describe scene. A laptop on a table.
So I'm here recording the video in front of a laptop, so it's able to see a laptop that's in front of me. Let me look around my office and try to see what else Envision can identify.
Describe scene.
So I swipe down to go back to the describe scene menu, and I'm going to look around and take another picture. So I double tap.
A table with chairs around it.
Yeah, so I have a big table in the office with lots of chairs around it. So Envision's able to correctly identify it and give you an idea of how that looks like. So that's a quick demonstration of the Envision glasses itself. There are a lot of new and interesting things that we're working on, but a couple of things that are really interesting that I want to talk to you about today. The first one is voice commands. So this is a feature that allows you to go ahead and access Envision just using your voice. So like I mentioned, to access Envision, you need to go ahead and use gestures, right? You need to double tap, swipe, and so on. These are the different gestures that are currently available. But what we are working on is to make Envision even more hands-free by using just your voice. So you'll be able to say things like, hey, Envision, can you read this? Or take a picture or describe scene. And Envision will automatically open up those features for you and then take a picture and give you the information that you want. The second thing that we're working on, and something that we're very, very excited about, is partnering with apps that are also making, or developers that are also making apps for people with a visual impairment. So for example, we've partnered with the Cash Reader app to bring to be able to recognize cash within the Envision glasses. We're also looking to partner with other companies like Aira or Bima Eyes to try to bring their apps also onto the Envision glasses platform. So these are some of the new improvements that are coming right now. We hope to keep you guys updated about all things related to the Envision glasses, the new stuff that we're pushing out. And if you want to stay in touch with us, you can follow us on socials, or you can also visit our website, www.letsenvision.com, for more information. So thank you so much for joining me today in knowing a bit more about Envision, the Envision glasses, and what's in store. And if you want to stay in touch, we really look forward to hear from you. Thank you.
Já děkuju Kartikovi za...
So thanks to Karthik for the introductory contribution, and I would just like to follow up to what he was saying, to add to what he was saying in his talk, and that's the collaboration with Cash Reader, with the Cash Reader app, which is used to recognize banknotes And the fact that we had the opportunity to get to know the Envision glasses here, and that our colleagues accepted our invitation to Agora and prepared this introductory talk for us, is the result. That this whole occurrence is the result of these community collaborations with Agora, because it was Tomáš Hrdinka, the cash readers developer, who gave us the contact to Envision, which led to you hearing this introductory talk here, which finished a little while ago. So that's it, and I'm happy that these synergies and overlaps are occurring, and I believe they will keep doing so even further. The next talk will be by Tomáš Hrdinka from the Spektra company, and in this talk he's going to take a look at the advanced features of the ZoomText software. I believe it's not just it's not a software that Agora participants would not know about, because we've already dealt with it several times in workshops. And Tomáš is going to take a look with us and introduce to us the advanced features of the ZoomText program, which can be used. These advanced features can be used by those who need ZoomText in situations where the basic features of magnification programs are not enough in these cases. So thanks, and Tomáš, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. I'd like to start by greeting all participants and organizers of this year's Agora. And even though the lectures and workshops are still only taking place online, I do believe that some interesting piece of information or of new information for any listeners will be there. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tomáš Hrdinka. I work at Spektra, and today I prepared a short talk for you about the ZoomText magnifier software. I assume all of today's listeners are engaged in the field. That means either you're going to be screen reader or magnifier users yourselves, or you're going to work in caregiving organizations, or are you going to be fans of assistive technologies. And that's why today's lecture about ZoomText is going to be focused more in depth. Talking about features that ZoomText users don't use very commonly, and that's a huge pity, because there are things that can simplify the user's work and make it nicer by a great deal, by a lot. Please take the entire talk just as a short demonstration of several interesting features. I would like to point who's interested to the follow-up workshop, which the colleagues called My Day with ZoomText. Michal Borek and Martin Plíštil are going to present there, and there's going to be time at the workshop to walk through all the ZoomText features in a deep detail. I really only focus just on the specifics, interesting specifics. So let's get started. ZoomText, as all of you certainly know well enough, ZoomText is a screen magnifying software designed primarily for the visually impaired users. The moment I turn on magnification, the entire desktop does not fit on the screen, but I can only see a magnified portion of it. I can easily configure the magnification size, a color palette, or if there is a larger block of text to relieve my eyes, I can have it read to me with a synthetic voice. The first of the features that users don't know very much about is working with two displays. Who does work with them will certainly agree that the second display can simplify the work a great deal. It's just enough when I'm typing something in Word, for example, and looking for more information about it on the web. The fact that you have both windows, both screens available at the same time, and you don't have to switch from window to window is a huge game changer, simplifies it a lot. But if I do have the screen magnified, what should be on the second screen? And how should ZoomText, or how does a ZoomText implement working with two displays? So in ZoomText, it's done in such a way that it has several modes depending on what I want to do with the computer at the moment and what's going to help me the most as the user. The first, the easiest mode is called joined view or joint picture. Just by the name you can probably guess what happens. At that time, ZoomText makes a single desktop out of both displays. That means that I can see twice as much information. Working with the computer and with ZoomText is still the same. I have a magnification set. I can see the picture magnified, and I have a single cursor. The screen then moves when I move to the edges, when I move the cursor to the edges. This mode is useful, especially when looking for something or when typing, just because it's easier to get oriented on a larger viewport. The second mode is called in ZoomText as magnification 1x, one-time magnification. What does it mean? You can see the same desktop or app on the screen. The viewport of the primary display is magnified. Currently on my laptop it's 3 times magnified, and on the second display I can see the same view but unmagnified, not magnified. It's a preview for me. That means I can see on the second display in the entire complete page, and even though I can't read the tiny font without magnification, I do see the mouse pointer, and thus I know which part of the screen I'm at. This is totally essential for orientation, and it doesn't matter if you have a browser window open and you read, or you work with email or with Word or in Word or Excel. Preview is a feature which is useful in all kinds of situations. The third mode is called independent view. Independent view mode is probably closest to how multiple displays are usually used without a magnifier. Each display has a separate, different desktop which shows different apps. ZoomText magnification size is configured for each display separately, and I can then just move from screen to screen with the mouse. Typical usage is when I have Word on the main display, that's 3 times magnified. On the second display there's, for example, a browser, and there the magnification can be configured differently. And to make it a little more complicated, independent view can be set within a single app. What does it mean? On the displays I can see different parts of the same program. So for example, when I have Word open, I have the text that I'm currently typing on the main display, and on the second display I have the cursor. That cursor is within the Word window, but in the upper part of the program in format settings, and I can then very easily and quickly switch with a keystroke between the typing area and the area where my formatting settings are, and I can change it. At the same time, when I do make a formatting change, it immediately takes effect, and I can see it in the typing area. If you'd like to play around with multiple displays, every desktop computer usually has a connector for the second connector in the back. And for notebooks, the connector is usually on the left side. The ZoomText magnification mode settings can be found in the part magnifier, window, and multiple displays. Another useful feature is search. ZoomText search enables me to quickly look through and move through documents, websites, and emails, to move within them and have them read to me via voice. When I do find the required place, I can start reading from there on within search. Who's experienced with screen readers for the blind is very similar. For the screen reader you have standard orientation and navigation features. It's exactly the same here, just simplified and with a control panel which can be controlled with the mouse. To work more quickly and efficiently, you use keystrokes just like you do with screen readers. Who works with a large amount of textual information in apps, typically it can be accounting or some database software, will certainly make use of the feature called reading areas. I can define the reading area myself in a certain app. I choose the area and the keystroke. After pressing the keystroke, the ZoomText viewpoint then moves to the defined area, and ZoomText reads via voice what's in that area. An example can be accounting software where I configure the area with important information, the invoice number, the total amount, the recipient's bank account details. Then the information is immediately available with a keystroke, even in the case when I'm currently moving the magnified window in a different part of the app. I couldn't fit more about ZoomText advanced features in here. If you want to learn more, I recommend the follow-up workshop, My Day with ZoomText, where my colleagues are going to walk through the entire software and all the information, all the features, and certainly there's also going to be room for potential questions there. At the same time, if you don't have ZoomText and would like to try it out, you can download the demo from our website, which is www.spektra.eu, and you can find the download link in the section support and downloads. That's everything from me. Thanks for your attention and have a nice evening.
All right, so thanks Tomáš for introducing ZoomText's advanced features, and even in our third talk we are also going to take a look at how to use software or assistive technologies efficiently. WinMenu is a software which was created by its authors with the aim to offer, especially to beginner users, a simple tool to work with printed or electronic documents so that they would be able to read them easily. But because they were aiming not just at the primary use case, but they also considered of how to achieve the program's goal efficiently, then, as the following talk's name is already implying, the WinMenu software can also be interested even to younger and more advanced users, meaning all of those who are able to use the computer well, but are looking for a tool which will make it possible for them to read texts efficiently. And how to do that, that's the third tutor of today's Agora is going to reveal to us, who is my long-term colleague and friend, Michal Jelínek. Michal, the floor is yours.
Hello, greetings from Prague. My name is Michal Jelínek, and I work as a tutor for visually impaired, and I teach how to use compensation aids. Today, I would like to introduce some features of WinMenu software. I'm going to load a file now. So the file is loaded now, and the first thing I want to show you, it's a small feature that we can use in the editor, which is in WinMenu. I'm going to go into the editing mode, and I have loaded this file. I've loaded a while ago. And what I want to show you is this feature, how to work with blocks of text. In Microsoft Windows, when we want to work with blocks of text, we need to work with Shift and then Move. And it can be slow and demanding, especially when we work with longer text. WinMenu has a great feature for this. What you need to do is to go to the place what you want to have as the beginning of the text and press Alt-Z in here. This way I set the label and I can move in the text anyway without using Shift or anything. And I move to the place where I want to finish my block of text and I press Alt-B. At this moment my block of text is marked and WinMenu starts reading it immediately. And now I can use Ctrl-C to copy or Ctrl-X to cut, as usually. It's a small feature, but useful, I believe. I'm going to leave the editor now, and I'm going to show you a feature that has been in WinMenu for quite some time, but is more developed in WinMenu Beletrik. I'm going to choose Save As, and here I can save the file as an audio file. In the past you had only one option, and that was to save it as one single MP3 file. Today, I can still save the file as one single MP3 file, but I can also divide the file based on the time. So, for example, I put in minutes the interval, how to cut the file, for example, an audiobook. Another option is to cut the file based on text. We at Digital Document Library use crosses to cut the text into chapters. So if I use a cross here, this file is cut very nicely into individual chapters. And if I click on the last option, here I can cut the file based on bookmarks. So if I make bookmarks in my file, or maybe they are already in there, or if I have a file that originally was created in our digital document library, and it is a journal that consists of several files. Thanks to this feature, the whole journal can be transferred into individual files based on individual articles. So a small feature, but useful. A new feature in WinMenu, and a great feature, is that now we can work with digital books and journals, and also audiobooks and journals. To get to this feature, you need to press Load, and we can load a digital book, a journal, an audiobook, and an audio journal. I'm going to choose, for example, audio journal, and I will get two journals that I have already loaded. If I want to take a look what is the news among journals, I need to press Tab to the section News. And because news is a very general term, I can say if I'm interested in the week, month, a quarter of the year, or a year. I'm going to choose a quarter of a year and confirm. Here I can choose the source. I will leave what I have chosen, all sources. And now I can choose the audio journals. For example, Jeden svět, Český bratr, Emma, because it's a mixture of sources. I have chosen all sources, so I can choose, for example, not only Zora, but also, for example, Jeden svět, etc. I'm going to choose the journal, and I can only choose it or go to download using Tab, or I can, and not many people know about this, I can use the spacebar to choose all journals I'm interested in, and then I use Tab to move to download, and I confirm. This way, all journals I have selected are downloaded. I will go back to my downloads, and when I was speaking about bookmarks, I can load, for example, Jeden svět journal. And Jeden svět journal is now playing. I could use the traditional player that we have in WinMenu. I use the typical features, arrow down to play, arrow up to pause. We know how it works. With these sources, we can also use page up and down to jump from one file to another.
Page up, page down pro přeskakování mezi jednotlivými soubory.
And I can use the key, or more precisely, it's a shortcut, Shift F12, and this will open the list of all the files of this journal.
Seznam všech souborů tohoto časopisu.
And I use Enter to confirm, and I start playing the file I have selected. If in the book or journal or anywhere I'm interested in any part and I might want to go back to that, I can press Left Alt Insert. And this creates a bookmark in the same way as in any book. I put there the name of the bookmark and I confirm with Enter. So I have created the bookmark and I can go back to this bookmark anytime by pressing F12. I go to the bookmark I want by pressing arrows or the first letter of the bookmark. And because we don't have so much time, I would like to show you the last feature that I was unaware of until very recently. And this feature is that we can easily find the hotkeys in a WinMenu. And these hotkeys will allow us to move much faster. For example, when we went into audio journals, I had to go into the main menu, load, and then audio journal, and I had to press arrow down many times. But if I press F1, now I know that next time when I want to go into audio journals, I just need to press I. I can show you that. Load I, and immediately I am in the list of journals. WinMenu has quite a lot of features, and really you can see that users don't know many of these features. I recommend looking into Help section, read through it. New features were added, especially for playing audiobooks and journals. You can rewind by 1 minute or 5 minutes, and I recommend looking into this section also for those who don't use a WinMenu so often. That is all from me. Greetings to Brno again, and goodbye.
Děkuji Michalovi za prezentaci.
Thanks for the presentation, Michal, and I'm taking the mic back from Prague to Brno. As you could may have noticed, Michal controls the computer exclusively using the keyboard, which is nothing surprising. But for many visually impaired people, the keyboard is the primary input device. Unfortunately, practice reveals that, especially in the case of pupils and students who are being educated at normal schools, they are missing this skill of touch typing using all 10 fingers, or at least being confident in keyboard typing enough as to make their typing efficient, if possible. And the Transkript online company decided to do something about this situation, which is a company that collaborated with our colleagues from TType to adapt their series of keyboard typing tutorials in such a way as to make the app accessible even to pupils or users in general with a visual impairment. About how they're doing in this endeavor and what about everything that's going on within this project, we'll now hear from Markéta Outratová from the Transkript online company. Markéta, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, my name is Markéta Outratová. I represent the Transkript online company, and I'd like to start off, I'd like to give you many thanks for this unique opportunity to present here the introduction to the workshop we are planning for Agora. Our company, Transkript Online, as is indicated by the name, provides and develops services which are connected to online transcription of spoken language. We are, I think, a very successful and today quite a big employer of visually impaired people. We employ especially blind fast typists, blind transcriptionists of spoken language in services for the hearing impaired. And as we gradually gained and trained our typists, and as our services expanded, we gradually learned we needed more and more transcriptionists, and we were kind of facing the challenge, or still are facing the challenge, of not being able to find any new, more quality candidates, not being able to discover them. From time to time, we publish a job listing and job ad. Some candidates subscribe to us, but usually they don't fulfill the criteria we would need. We asked ourselves what causes this, and we found the answer quite soon and quite simply, because I very often notice from various talks of visual education center employees and social workers about how kids that are being educated in standard schools via inclusive education, they are blind or visually impaired, then they struggle with not being able to control the keyboard properly as they should, the way they should. So we told to ourselves, we thought this in the low typing literacy of blind pupils is reflected in us not being able to find the quality candidates for transcriptionists. So we were thinking about what to do with it, and we said we'd like to change the situation, and we'd like to be able to contribute even for the future to enhancing the touch typing keyboard literacy of the blind and visually impaired peoples. And we thought we're not doing it just for the community, but also for ourselves, because this might help us to discover new quality candidates for transcriptionists in the future. So these two facts, the low number of quality candidates and as well the low digital literacy of visually impaired pupils, led us to putting together a project for which we received the support of the Czech Radio Endowment Fund. And this project was quite clearly specified. It was about making accessible an app for teaching keyboard typing, touch keyboard typing. We thought these pupils who are being educated in standard schools are kind of unfortunate in the fact that the special education center employees don't have a lot of capacity to treat them individually, even though in most cases they do possess excellent individual capabilities, and they would be able to teach the pupils. It's not possible for capacity reasons, and standard school teachers simply don't have these necessary prerequisites. So we thought a simple way to do this, to support the digital literacy, would be to make one of several online typing schools accessible. And several of them, we had several of those to choose from, and in the end we chose the company TType, Touch Typing Made Fun, which became our project partner, and we are making accessible TType. TType is an app which is a kind of an online gaming course or tutorial, and using this app standard school pupils without special needs and any disabilities learn to type on the keyboard in the proper way and efficiently, the way it should be done, and how we'd like to teach it even to visually impaired peoples. This project of ours is running for this whole year, and it has two phases. First, we created a prototype of this adapted version of the TType app, and of course it was necessary to pilot test this prototype before releasing it to the education, before showing it to the teachers. It was necessary to test it. So since January 2021, we realize a half-year-long pilot course where we teach visually impaired pupils to touch type using this TType app. With this course and with this app and with its adapted version, we're going to introduce them in the workshop, for which we'd like to invite you in this way here. And the workshop is going to take place on the 10th of June from 4:30 to 6 p.m. It's going to take place online the way you're probably used to now in Agora, where it's not currently possible to do it in any other way. Within this workshop, we're going to introduce the TType app to you. We're going to introduce, give a closer look at our project and the results of the pilot course. And we would also like to ask you, or an offer for you. We have just realized a course where low vision pupils participated. They have different type of vision impairments, but they're all low vision. None of them are totally blind. And what we need next would be to test the app with totally blind users of the JAWS and NVDA screen readers. And we would need for these users to be adult people. So the request to you is such that we would be happy if you helped us to test the TType app. If you walked through it, tried to play a few games, complete a few of the exercises, and even kind of remind yourself of whether you're able to touch type properly. You can read a lot of different theoretical articles there if you want to, but you'll especially be able to try out what this kind of course looks like. So if you decide to take part in this workshop of ours, which we do invite you for, and if you wouldn't like to be just passive recipients of information, but you would also like to join actively and you would like to help us test the TType app, then you can show this interest of yours when applying for the workshop. When subscribing to the workshop, we'll then make all the information available to you, the app available to you, and you have a couple days to try it out. That's about it from me for now, as such a kind of an introduction for our larger talk for the workshop. We're looking forward to you, and we're looking forward especially for you sharing your experiences with us, with your experiences with TouchType. It really is an adventurous journey in keyboard literacy, as you're going to be able to see and even hear for yourselves, because the app already does provide self-voicing capabilities, and within the workshop we are going to share your experiences with the course. That's everything from me for this introduction, and I thank you for your attention.
Já děkuji Markétě za představení.
I would like to thank Markéta for introducing the app and the kind of collaborative project which is concerned with teaching touch typing in such a way as to make it as accessible, but as well as efficient for visually impaired users. And from software solutions, let's move on a little bit into the world which connects technologies with the technological world, with the physical world. And such a kind of bridge can be 3D printing and its usage for the needs of the education of the visually impaired. A person who's been concerned with this topic for a long time and in a conceptual way is Petr Dušek, who besides his other activities concerned with 3D printing also just started manufacturing even educational sets, the goal of which is to offer the information about a certain occurrence or activity or anything else in a accessible way to interested parties with a visual impairment. The kind of a first start of this project is the educational set Yuri Gagarin invited us to space, which was released a few weeks ago and combines the possibilities of using 3D printing and audio recording and digital material and further possibilities which today's technologies bring. About how this is possible and which plans in this area Petr has for the future, he'll talk to us about it right now. Petr, I'm passing the mic to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends of Agora, my name is Petr Dušek and I am a member of the Teiresias Center at Masaryk University, a member of the expert group for barrier-free astronomy and cosmonautics of the Czech Astronomical Society, and a member of Labline-zoned makerspace. Today, I would like to briefly introduce to you educational sets for visually impaired, sets which I have focused on recently. These educational sets were developed with the support of Svetlushka, Firefly, Endowment Fund of the Czech Radio, and partner fund Kaufland. It was also supported by project Inclusive Education, assurance of participation of people with disability in informal education of adults. The Teiresias Center is a part of this project. Another project of great support was Quality Inclusive Education of Pupils with Special Needs at Primary and Secondary Schools, School as a Center of Colleague Support. The first educational set was created to celebrate the 60th anniversary of Yuri Gagarin's flight. On the 12th of April 2021, it was exactly 60 years since the first man, Yuri Alexeyevich Gagarin, traveled into space. In 1961, in his spaceship Vostok 1, he flew around our planet and landed. This educational set, or box if you want, contains several works. There is a publication in Braille and black and white print. It is called Yuri Gagarin Invited Us to Space. The author of this publication is Milan Halousek. Another part of the set is two 3D models. One of them is a sculpture of Yuri Gagarin, and the other is a model of Vostok 1 spaceship. Next part are three reliefs. There is the map of the flight trajectory, there is Yuri Gagarin's signature, and there is sculpture of Yuri Gagarin. Another part of the set is a USB drive with digital materials. On the flash drive there is the publication itself, there is the audio recording, there are STL files for the 3D models and 3D reliefs. What needs to be mentioned is that the recording was dubbed by a Czech actor and a comedian, Jaroslav Táborský, and astronomer and journalist Petr Sobotka. So that was Gagarin, that was one educational set, but there is more than Gagarin. At the moment I'm working on another educational sets, and there are three of them to be exact. The first of them is work from the area of healthcare. It is from the area of dentistry, and it is dedicated to children from the first year of primary school up to adults. The second set, or the second work, is focused on healthcare as well, and it focuses on obesity. It is dedicated to children from the second year of primary school up to adults. The next educational set, the last set, is focused on the area of astronomy. The topic of this set is time, and it is dedicated to children from the second year of primary school up to adults. To give more details about the first set, I suppose that this set from the area of dentistry will focus on the importance of teeth, the type, shape and functions of individual teeth, the origin of tooth decay and how to prevent it, etc. About the second educational set, which focuses on obesity, it will focus on topics of obesity generally, the types of obesity, the risks of obesity, the factors for the origin of obesity, eating habits, lifestyle, exercise, etc. Then it focuses on prevention and treatment of obesity and other topics. As I mentioned, the last set is focused on the area of astronomy and on time. The topics covered in this set are philosophical understanding of time, scientific understanding of time, the day and the night, the rotation of our planet, the mean time, time zones, the month, the year and other astronomical cycles, the types of calendars based on the revolution of the Earth around the Sun and the Moon around the Earth, the geologic timescale, etc. This set is primarily to be used as a supplement for haptic planetarium, but it can be used on its own. These three sets will be primarily displayed in haptic, braille letters and black and white print, and they will be supplemented by selected 3D models or reliefs, which will be created by thermoforming or 3D print. To focus on the haptic part of educational sets, I still use the 3D print, but at the moment I'm using other technologies as well. One of these is cutting and engraving by laser. And this is very useful in order to create a box to contain the parts of the work. Then I'm using a vacuum plastic forming machine. I use this machine especially to create fixation for the individual aids in the boxes. Sometimes I use it to create the aids themselves that are sometimes better to be created by this method than, for example, 3D print. All these sets can be continuously optimized and supplemented and changed. So we can see these sets as works that are to be changed. So we need to understand these sets as some form of new media. So yes, primarily these sets are products of new media. These are based on especially digital numeric data encoding, but the sets themselves do not necessarily have to be digital and numerically coded. So that is all for today. That is all I wanted to briefly tell you. If you wanted to know more about educational sets, please do not hesitate to contact me on petr.dušek@nesmir.cz.
Děkuji Petrovi za představení.
Thanks to Petr for introducing the educational sets. And we are gradually moving on to the final stages of our program. During the past hour and or so, we've had the opportunity to learn more about different aids and tools, and now thus the question arises of how to get to the various aids. There are different ways in the Czech Republic of how to get hold of such aids and tools, but I would like to mention a new one, a new possibility which can help a lot of people answer this question. The Czech Radio Endowment Fund has launched on the 1st of May a rental shop for assistive tools and sports gear, which can help to anyone who's interested at the moment when they just need to borrow and to rent an aid or a tool or some sports gear for a longer term, or even for a short while when they just need the tool to use it for a specific goal and it's not worthwhile for them to buy their own tool. You probably know that a lot of these tools are very expensive. So it's not sensible to buy a double bicycle just for a single weekend trip. But in such a situation, the possibility to rent the bike for a weekend can come in handy. Or on the other hand, you need to learn how to use an expensive aid which costs, let's say, 100,000 crowns. You need to learn about the tool, and you don't have the time that the vendor provides or a booth at an expo gives you. It's not sufficient time for you. So in this case, you can reach out to Firefly, to the endowment fund, and apply for a short-term or a long-term rental, so that you will be able to try the tool out and decide whether to get one of your own or not. We'll learn everything about everything the rental shop offers and about how the entire process works from Gabriela Drastichová, the chief executive of Czech Radio's Endowment Fund. Gabriela, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, dear friends. Greetings from the Czech Radio Endowment Fund and from Firefly, which is kind of a tradition at Agora already. I believe you're watching us and listening to us from a place where you feel comfortable, and that each one of the lectures of this year's Agora is going to be useful to you. I'd like to make use of my couple of minutes to tell you more about Firefly's new project, which we launched just in May, and it's an compensatory aid and sports gear rental shop for the visually impaired. Let's take a look at the most important information which everyone who's interested in a rental from us should know. The rental shop resides in Prague, but it works all over the country, which means that people from the entire country can make a rental, and we're able to deliver the aid and then have it delivered back to us to the rental shop for free, thanks to the DPD shipping company. As I mentioned already, the rental shop is primarily meant for people with severe visual impairment or a combined visual impairment, but also to people who give care to the visually impaired people, both as professionals or close people. The rental services can also be used by non-profit organizations or donation organizations, schools, special education centers, if they need an aid for to be able to work directly with a severely visually impaired client, or for education and consultancy and advocacy activities. The necessity or needfulness of the aid is described to us by each client into a booking form, which is always filled out every time when you want to book an aid, and also confirmed in a statutory declaration, which is then part of the agreement, of the rental agreement. The question we're asked the most often is for how long it's able to rent the aid or the sports gear, and I believe that precisely the flexibility of the length of the rental length is going to be what differentiates our rental shop from other rentals. We split the length into 3 basic groups based on the necessity, and the first group of our clients, I believe, are going to be those of you who like trying out new gadgets and they need to try them out to make sure in quiet at home, in the real life scenarios, to make sure about whether the given aid is suitable for them, whether it gives them the help that's perhaps communicated in marketing way. So you can, in these cases, you can try the aid out for up to 1 month. Typically, it's going to be assistive technologies which are new on the market. The second group of clients, I assume, are going to be those who have applied for a donation for the aid at the employment agency, and they're waiting for their application to be processed, or those who have their own aid in a repair shop and are waiting to get it back repaired. I assume the length of the rental can raise up to 6 or 9 months, in this case, depending on how fast the repair shop is or busy. Usually these are rentals for phones and computer and camera magnifiers, which we have in the rental shop. However, we also consider those of you who for any reason did not get accepted for the donation for the aid from the employment agency, and yet they needed the aid for their everyday life. And even those of you who only need the aid for a limited time, typically can be students or people who only need the aid for the time of the duration of the school year, and the aid is too expensive for them to buy their own for this long. As an example, can be a geometry set which is going to be used by students at school, or it can be a second portable magnifier which you need for the time when you live at a dorm during your studies. So the rental is here even for those of you. The rental length in this case can be up to 12 months, or depending on your specific situation, even longer. I will also shortly mention specified examples of what's going to be available in the shop. I would like to repeat this once more. The catalog of the aids and sports gear for rental is gradually being expanded by us. We're starting with a basic set of aids, but I believe that when we evaluate after a couple of months how the rental shop works and which aids are requested the most often, we're also going to ask you actively which aids you're most interested in. Then we are going to expand the catalog accordingly. Our database of aids is also being complemented with aids which Firefly receives as part of an estate of the deceased, or donated from our users who have stopped using it or no longer use it the way it's supposed to be used. We also have camera magnifiers in the shop, both desktop and portable and pocket ones. We have Clearview C desktop magnifiers with voice, Vocatec standard and Topaz 24 HD, and then there's 3 portable camera magnifiers, Compact 10 HD with voice, Traveler HD without voice, and Humanware 8. Among the miniature pocket camera magnifiers, there's Ruby XL and Humanware, and also Compact A5 HD. So you're certainly going to be able to make your selection. Among phones, we currently offer the most recent iPhone 12 Pro and also the iPhone SE, so that you can try out whether this specific device is suitable for you. The rental also includes the blind shell phones, both the classic and the classic light versions. We also have available laptops which are complemented with the necessary peripherals. We have external keyboards, external mice, and of course also special software. Both is a screen reader as well as a screen magnifier. Certainly, if you need to connect even the scanner to the laptop, then you can also rent that in the shop. For those of you who use or need to use a reading device, it's also going to be available in the shop. There's Clear Reader. We also have Orbit Reader for rental, which is a Braille note taker. Then among the smaller, simpler aids, there are recorders, digital recorders, and we also have available to try out even Apple Watch for those of you who use or are used to Apple technologies. We also have Orcam MyEye 2.0, the most recent version. We're expecting to be able to expand the catalog with the latest version within a couple of weeks, and we also have the Sunu Band wristband available for trial. The last two mentioned aids are exactly examples of aids that I would say you are going to want to try out for a short while and decide whether they're suitable for specifically for you. Sports gear, I'd also like to mention. Among sports gear, we have beautiful tandem or double hang bikes for kids. So these are aids especially for families with visually impaired kids. We also have available a cycling trailer, which can be used by children up to 9 years of age. And by half of July, we expect 2 more double bikes in M and L sizes to be added, so anyone can choose. The process of booking and finally renting an aid is very clearly described at the website. You can find the catalog link there and also a link to the booking form, which you simply fill out, and then we also use that when building the rental agreement for you. And currently we also learn more about your needs and your reason why you need the aid, whether you also need some training for it or can do everything on your own, whether you need the aid to be configured in some specific way, and so on. You may also be interested in how it's with finances. The rental shop is in principle free of charge for users. You only pay a one-time service fee, which is going to enable us to get the aid back to the original state it was when you rented it. So to clean it, to update the software, recharge batteries, or the most basic maintenance. The fees are 200 or 400 Czech crowns, depending on how maintenance demanding the aid is. Rental of sports gear is rented based on is priced based on how many days you're gonna rent the bike for, but even so the prices are very low in such a way that really everybody is going to be able to afford them. So I invite you all to the rental shop very sincerely. We'll be happy for your feedback about what should not be missing in the rental, and we're going to be glad if you use it and the service is helpful to you for over the time of the entire calendar year, and if you let others know. Once again, thanks for your time, and I hope we'll be able to meet again in person in autumn. Have a nice day, and the website is svetluska.net/PUJCOVNA. Once again, have a nice day.
Thanks to Gabino, both for introducing the rental shop and as well for actually launching it, because I believe that it can really be for many interested users of technologies. This can be a thing that will aid them in their lives and simplify their lives a great deal. And there's the last talk waiting for us, in which we are going to take a look at an aid or tool, which unfortunately you cannot rent in the Firefly rental shop. But you're probably not going to run it anywhere these days anymore. Nevertheless, because this talk is a kind of look backwards at the note taker called Eureka A4, which was released 30 years ago. At that time, it was the Czechoslovakian market, and it meant, for a lot of people with visual impairment, this note taker meant a kind of a entrance gateway into the world of assistive technologies and of how experts say compensatory aids based on information technologies, because these people, thanks to Eureka, had available a note taker which made it possible to perform a great deal of activities independently, which until then in most such cases was not possible, and it was necessary to have an assistant to perform these activities. So Eureka A4 back in its time was truly a revolutionary and key aid, and we'll learn everything about all that it meant to its users and what it brought to its users and in which way it changed their lives. We'll learn all about it from Pepa Konečný, the co-organizer of Agora, and Roman Kabelka. So, sirs, it's yours. It's up to you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Josef Konečný, and next to me there's sitting a good friend of mine who's talking now, Roman Kabelka. Nice to meet you. That was just so that you know who's who. Dear friends, when you say the word Eureka, what do you think of? I guess that the group of our youngest listeners will probably think of an e-shop. Coffee lovers might think of an Italian manufacturer of a coffee grinder. History lovers might think of the victorious Archimedes' call at the moment he realized that a body which is surfaced in a liquid is lifted up with a certain force. But I'm convinced that several hundred blind people will first think of a synthetic speech talking. Eureka A4, good afternoon. Do you know that it's been 30 years already since I first came to Czechoslovakia, arrived in Czechoslovakia to help you? Josef talking again. Yes, Eureka A4, a little device the size of a A4 formatted book, an A4 page-sized book, which was equipped with a Czech Braille keyboard, a Czech voice synthesis, and a lot of features. This device became at the beginning of the 1990s kind of a phenomenon, at least within the community of blind people. To many of those, it opened the door at least slightly ajar, and to many others it became straight away the springboard leading into the world of computer science, computer technology. And this year's, it's been exactly 30 years since this device first arrived to us all the way from the remote Australia, where it even learned to speak Czech, and it began spreading among blind users in Czechoslovakia back at the time. I do believe thus that this is the time when we could remember Eureka a little bit. It certainly does deserve that. And that's why I, here with Roman, put together some texts with the help of Radek Pavlíček, who provided photo documentation for them, and had a graphical design or layout made for us, as well as with the help of Matěj Minďoš, who we're grateful to for making some video recordings. So we've put together a small presentation which we'd like to offer you now. What are you going to read in there? Of course, everything about Eureka, about what it looked like, all the devices that could be connected to it, what features it offered, but also how it even came that Eureka, even though it was created in the remote Australia, got all the way here to us, to Czechoslovakia, and what even preceded its arrival here. You'll also learn the information that we had available back then, whether it be textual information or auditory information. Yes, there are also a lot of auditory samples, demonstrations, not just speech, but also various sounds that it was capable of playing. But there are also memories there of certain people who concerned themselves with working with Eureka far more deeply than most ordinary users, who spent hundreds of hours in their free time on programming a lot of entertaining and useful programs for the less advanced users, on composing or at least transcribing a lot of musical files for those less advanced users, or of those people who spent a lot of time on introducing the less advanced users to the world of working with Eureka. Roman talking now. Even the ones who are interested in more deep technical details will learn a lot here. You can look forward to finding details about how Eureka even worked, what components were inside of it, and how the technical development has progressed over the 35 years. I can only tell you that since Eureka was first created, we have 1,000 times faster processors, and we can work with data which can take up to 1,000,000 times larger storage sizes. You'll also be able to find information there about the other computers that were available here at the time when Eureka arrived. It was a kind of it was an era when IBM personal computers were kind of racing forward, and these 10 years later somehow won over the branch of home computers that even Eureka was a part of. Eureka was an 8-bit computer. It used the CP/M operating system. So the information about this operating system and about the memories and processor that Eureka was using can also be found in the materials. Surprisingly enough, when you open up Eureka, which you can witness for yourselves, because we do have a video with an open Eureka there, you can find even components there made by companies that you can hear about even nowadays. For instance, Western Digital or AMD. You can also find information there about why the modem and disk drive were quite exclusive components for Eureka. It was not entirely common for computers at that time to have a 3.5 floppy drives, which were tiny and portable and could be put into Eureka, which we were carrying around everywhere. And the modem being a gateway to information, that was not entirely obvious either, but it was a huge opportunity for the visually impaired, which we also discuss even in other parts of the publication where we're concerned, for example, with the BBS systems. Eureka had an analog to digital converter, which it used for its thermometer and voltmeter. But it could, in fact, essentially have been used even for any other measuring devices. You'll find a description here of how this entire system worked and how it could have been possibly used elsewhere, but unfortunately that never really got pulled off. You'll find information about how Eureka communicated with other devices, such as printers or external modems or other computers, and also information about how Eureka's modem even worked, and you can even listen to its sounds. We also, of course, discuss other technical matters, such as keyboard construction, which in the specific case of Eureka, unfortunately, was not exactly perfect, we could say. And of course, not just the technical matters, but we also discuss Eureka's software, meaning we're talking about about the features of Eureka, but it did have even an operating system. So what that operating system consisted of, how Eureka could be programmed, which programming languages could be used, there's just a lot of it. And you can find this entire material at the address portal.cz/eureka. Josef talking again. And besides the invitation to take a look at this material, we would also like to invite you to the kind of workshop, or let's rather call it a discussion, that we're going to prepare for you. If you keep following Agora's website, then you'll get to know the date, and you will of course have the opportunity to subscribe on this page. And if you do it, we'll be looking forward to meeting you. Goodbye. Then Roman says goodbye, and finally Eureka itself says goodbye. Thanks to Peppa and Roman for the last talk of today's Agora's plenary session. And for those of you who are going to take a look at the portal Pelion to take a look at the material that Peppa and Roman have mentioned, then just a little notice for you that this is still a material in work in progress. So currently we have several chapters there, and we will keep adding further information. The coronavirus has kind of thwarted our plans in this regard, but I believe that the guide is going to be complete in the next couple of days. Currently, you can find just a taste in the form of several chapters that are already prepared for you, and there are also video recordings in the total length of about an hour. So you can already at least watch those, and in this way enjoy enjoy the wait for the further materials about Eureka. The colleagues have also mentioned the workshops, as we already mentioned in the invitations. This Agora is just starting off with this plenary session, and currently we can already offer you 4 workshops. The invitations for most of them you've already heard about during today's program. So we currently have prepared the workshop about advanced usage of ZoomText, the workshop about the TType application, about the WinMenu program, and the last one that's being offered to you today is the discussion or the look back at Eureka A4. We'll publish the information in the coming days on the Agora website at agora.muni.cz, where you can find the workshops section, and there'll be more information, including the time and platform where the workshops are going to take place. Considering the current circumstances, we'll still be meeting online. So even for those of you who Brno is too far away, I believe this is going to be a nice option of at least taking part in some of these workshops. At the same time, I would also like to advise those Agora participants who are going to offer a workshop of their own to get in touch with me, so that we would be able to discuss the details and the content and about how we could pull such a workshop off. So we are open both to further workshop offerings and to subscribing to the workshops starting next week for those of you who are interested in them. The workshops are going to take place up until the end of June. We're trying to synchronize everything so that they would not overlap, and that you would be able to participate if you're interested of all the workshops that the tutors are preparing for you. At the same time, I would also like to ask you for your feedback. Some of you have already written to us, written comments on Facebook, which we thank you for. So if you enjoyed the Spring Agora, we'll be glad if you share your experience with us. By the same token, if you something
if you were missing something in the program, some interesting news or offer or something that's already been around for some time, but it's not generally very well known about, we'll be happy if you let us know, and we'll try to establish the presentation about that for next Agora. You can either write your feedback into Facebook comments or you can send me an email. Regarding the next Agora, we believe that the circumstances will already enable us, that the world will already, at least for the most part, return to where it was in 2019, and we'll already be able to organize the fall Agora in the build environment in person, so that those of you who will have the time will be able to come and join us here, and we'll meet up here in the Teiresias Center of Masaryk University. It would be one of the weekends at the end of October or the first half of November. We'll still see, based on the options, on the possibilities. It's still difficult to plan and to predict because the situation is still difficult and challenging from our point of view as the organizers. A half a year or 9 months in advance, the situation is not yet stable enough so that we could say this for certain. So stay in touch with us, keep following our information channels of the Teiresias Center, or keep following the portal Pelion, the web Poslepu, the Teiresias website. We're trying to offer this information in as wide a way as possible so that they would reach you and you can participate at our events if you're interested. And that's it from me for today. I would like to conclude this by thanking once again to all of you who have taken your time to join Agora, either live or from the archives. I would also like to thank the partners of Agora, the general partners, the Deloitte company, and the Czech Radio Endowment Fund, which supports Agora from the Firefly Fund. But we also have other partners. I already mentioned them at the beginning, so all of them deserve a great thank you from us for their financial, material, or personal assistance, the support of various kinds, like sharing the information, informing the various target groups of participants that they communicate. With some of these groups, the partners communicate rather than more than us. So great thanks to them. Thanks also to our interpreters who prepared the translation of the program into English. And Lukáš has interpreted live these live talks of mine. Thanks also belong to our colleagues, to the technicians who took care of Agora taking place without any issues and in the quality we're already used to and the way we've already set it up. And also, of course, thanks to the lecturers who have prepared, I believe, interesting contributions for you, at least judging by the feedback we've already received so far. So that's everything from me for now. Thanks to everybody who has participated at this Spring Agora 2021. Thank you. Stay safe and healthy. And I believe that we will be able to meet in person if possible, and if not possible, then we'll just make use of the technologies again and meet in the virtual environment once again by the fall of this year, by the fall 2021 at the latest. So thank you once again to all of you, and enjoy a splendid evening.